Welcome to Mom on Purpose, where it's all about helping moms overcome challenges and live their best lives. My hope is by being here, you are more inspired to become the mom you were made to be. I'm Natalie, your host, a wife, boy mom, dog mama, Chicagoan, and former lawyer turned professionally certified coach. If you're here to grow, I can help. Let's go. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I have so much on my mind to share with you, starting with At Your Goal Weight. This is my brand new signature weight loss program. I have not released a brand new program in years, and this has been a labor of love for the last several months. I have no idea how I got it done. It's been a lot of nights and weekends and really down to the wire, holding myself accountable to just get these recordings done. And I'm so proud of them. More important though is what it's all about and whether it's a good fit for you. And I want to answer questions. I want to share with you what it's all about. Even if you're not interested, I encourage you to listen to this, especially if you think that you might want to lose weight in the future so you can learn more about how this approach is different. It really is designed to help you permanently, not just lose weight, but maintain weight loss and be at your goal weight. And I think, no matter what season of life we are in, there are going to be other seasons where our weight fluctuates, and then having the tools to come back down to your goal weight can be just extraordinarily helpful. I also want to invite you to DM me on Instagram with any of your questions. I get so many DMs about my weight loss approach. So I'm going to try to answer a lot of the most common ones on today's episode right here. But I also want to invite you to DM me about any weight loss question that you have over at mom.onpurpose on Instagram, because, maybe you're listening to this in the future, or maybe I don't answer your question on this episode and you have a different question. That is a really great place for you to contact me directly. If you prefer, you can always email us at theteam@momonpurpose.com and we'll definitely reply within 24 business hours. We have great customer service as well. So either place, I want you to know that my intention with At Your Goal Weight was to create something that really was like this just capsule of tools that moms like me, high achieving moms, who kind of self-identify as high achieving, maybe you're type A. Typically it's like older moms, maybe over 35, right? I just turned 40, so I attract a lot of moms who are older as well. Your kids' ages don't matter at all. Sometimes that comes up. It's definitely not like a new mom weight loss program by any means. So whether you just had a baby or your baby is 25, it doesn't matter. But I created this because of the impact that these tools have had on my life and because of the demand for it. And one thing that I want to share with you, if you've seen any of my weight loss pages, I typically put my before and after. And I don't have a good before and after because at the time, my friends, when I was, freshly postpartum, I was not taking pictures of myself. I have like from the shoulders up with me and baby Jack, of course, but full body photos, like my oldest son, Robert, had a birthday right after Jack was born, like a month later. And even those, I'm wearing black pants because obviously no jeans fit. I'm wearing black pants, kind of like a very forgiving shirt. And I did that on purpose, right? Like I'm dressing my body in a way that, somewhat looks flattering, as we all do. Well, I never in a million years thought that my weight loss story would resonate so much. And had I known that, I would have taken better befores and afters. And so I don't have a ton of postpartum photos. And so I share that with you because if you're wondering like, oh my gosh, did your weight just come off right after baby? That was not the case at all, my friends. I was the heaviest I had ever been. I gained the most weight. I'm not someone who I would describe as naturally thin. Like, what does that even mean, really, right? When I think back to who I was decades ago, like in my early 20s, I was, maybe 20, 25-ish pounds heavier than I am now is like my set point. And this was well before kids. And that to me would have been like what I would have said was my set point. And so I think that it's just interesting when we say things like naturally thin, but whole topic for a different day. But my point here is to share that I worked hard, but simply in a way that was very doable using my tools to lose the weight. And I did it rather quickly. And my story really fueled a lot of my method. I call it the lose more with less method, and you learn all of it inside my program at your goal weight. Now, a little bit of context for those of you not inside the Mom on Purpose membership. I've actually been teaching weight loss because I'm a professionally certified weight loss coach for years. It kind of ends up, or I had ended up being one of the master classes maybe every 1 to 2 years. And I had in the last 2 years done a master class on weight loss. And it wasn't until I had baby Jack, I had lost the weight, and I was starting to run meta ads, which if you're unfamiliar, if you're not a business owner, that just means that I was starting paid advertising. And so I wanted to reach women who didn't know me at all, right? In the marketing world, we call that like cold traffic, people who have never heard of me. It's not like one of their friends recommended the podcast, which I do get a lot of referrals. Thank you very much, all of you who send your friends these podcasts. It's awesome. And typically when someone finds a podcast that way, they're already warm to me. They're like, oh yeah, my friend recommended this. And so, they take well to the podcast. And it's a very different when you're advertising to people who don't know you. And I am not an expert in advertising, nor is this designed to be an episode about that. But my point is to just kind of share with you where the roots of this program came from, because that's how it started. I was thinking about transformations that I had that I felt confident that I could teach that would really resonate with someone who had never heard of me. And I was like, well, I lost 50 pounds after having baby Jack. Like, that's a cool story. And, I did it without exercising, and I was doing, a million other things at the time. And so, that's kind of how it all started. And then over the course of the last couple of years, I've taken on many private clients for weight loss. And then, the messages started rolling in about weight loss. And I created an audio course about weight loss. And through the production of that audio course, over the course of about, 6 to 9 months, I developed my lose more with less method. And, it's so crazy to me because we all have this in different areas of our lives where there's something that just feels easy to us now because we've done it so much. And, for you, it might be time management, or it might be parenting, or whatever it is, right? For me, I remember thinking about weight loss and thinking like, how am I going to teach this? Like it feels so intuitive to me now, right? It's definitely not just going to happen by doing nothing, right? I wasn't just like eating cheeseburgers and cake and takeout all day. Like, it didn't just come off, right? In quotes. I get that question from time to time, and I want you to know that was not the case. I had to focus. I had to use my tools, but it was intuitive because I've been doing this for so long. And I wanted to help more moms with weight loss because so many moms were asking me, like, how did you do this? Like, given my circumstances. And that's really why I share my circumstances. I had 3 under 4 at the time, running my coaching practice in like 15 to 20 hours per week, husband's working full time outside the home. Like, it's a lot, right? And so how to prioritize weight loss. And I realized that most people actually aren't prioritizing weight loss. And weight loss is just a calorie deficit. They're prioritizing a lot of other health goals under that umbrella of weight loss. And that's a huge mistake in my opinion. And it's really what differentiates me. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I do have like an entire method, and I really fleshed it out in the audio program. But the not problem, but the thing with that was that it was dripped out as an audio program every single week. And I was developing my concepts as I went. Well, as soon as I realized, okay, I actually have an amazing premium signature course here, then I switched gears to create that, because with the audio program, it's like, you're getting it weekly on the fly as I'm developing the tools. And I've heard from you all who have been in that program, you've gotten awesome results with it. But the benefit of like a higher tier, more signature premium course is that it's not just content every single week that's kind of random. It is in a specific sequence so that you learn exactly what to do to get the result in like the fastest way possible. Not from an urgent, needy place, like, oh my gosh, I have to lose weight to be happy, but not in a like, let's take our time and listen to one training every single week for the course of 9 months. That's not what we're going to do here. So when you get at your goal weight, you're not just getting more information. I put a lot of time and just intentional thinking into creating a methodology, a strategy that really reflects exactly what I did and exactly what I have helped many clients do to lose weight. And that is all inside at your goal weight. So 2 things that I want to recommend that you do here now. And then I'm going to share with you specifics about the Lose More with Less method at your goal weight and just answer some of the questions that I have been getting. I think it'll be really helpful. So the 2 things that I want to recommend that you do, if you're listening to this in real time, come and join me in 2 days on Friday, July 3rd, and ask me your question live. You will also hear me talk about the top 3 things that I did to lose weight, as well as the top 3 things I didn't do. So it's going to take a different perspective on my weight loss approach so that you can learn how I lost the weight and how you can too. I'll also answer any questions that you have. You can register for that over at mom.onpurpose/live. Be sure to come live. You're going to get an incredible bonus that's just for free if you show up live. The second thing that I want to recommend that you do is head on over to momonpurpose.com/goal. Now, if you're listening to this in real time, you will be taken to the wait list, and I highly recommend that you get on that so you can be first in and first to know. Anyone on that list is going to get first access as well as a really ridiculously insane bonus. I've been having a lot of fun with bonuses for this. My membership girlies know that. It's just it's just been really fun for me to serve you all in this way and come up with more ways that I can help you reach your weight loss goal. So make sure you are on the wait list. And if you're listening to this after the 3rd has passed, if you go to momonpurpose.com/goal, same URL, you will be taken to the actual page where you can learn all about at your goal weight. I have a short video. It's like under 3 minutes long, so you can hear a little bit more about it, as well as what you're going to get inside the Lose More with Less method, the specific skills that you'll learn, the logistics for those of you who that's very important, some client experiences from working with me to lose weight, and then, the commonly asked questions, which I am going to continue to add to as they come in, and they are coming in. The course isn't even out yet, and I've been getting DMs just asking about what if I work out and what if I'm breastfeeding or what if my kids are outside the home, meaning I'm in menopause already, will this work for me? It's a variety of those questions. So if your question isn't here, again, just send me a DM, send me an email, either way. So those are the 2 things that I recommend that you do, momonpurpose.com/live, so that you can come join me live. And then also momonpurpose.com/goal. So you can either join the waitlist if it's before the 3rd and be first to know, or you can learn all about the program and register if it is a good fit. I have no idea if I am going to close the doors after enrollment. Honestly, my focus right now is just getting it all out to you because that has been a labor of love. And I'm just really excited to launch this, and then I will decide that. I always think for myself when I'm making a decision about something, that the cost of waiting is like the cost of not getting the result. And so for me, I always tend to be an early investor or someone who just wants to get in and get to work. And that way I can get the results faster. I don't want to wait to lose more weight if I'm talking about weight loss. Now I want to shift gears and talk with you about the lose more with less method. It is called lose more with less because I figured out how to lose more weight doing less. For those of you who have been in my world for a long time, you know that I'm a stickler for one goal at a time. This has been something that repeatedly comes up around New Year's. I've talked about this before, but it's worth mentioning here again. I really believe that you will be far more successful when you focus on one goal at a time. Well, how does this relate to weight loss? I actually think that most people who are working on weight loss goals are working on multiple goals at once and they don't even realize it. So for example, if you are trying to lose weight and you are tracking macros and working out and doing anything else, right? Those are specific goals in and of themselves. You are working on how to get fit, right? That's its own goal. I love that goal. I need to go on that journey. Okay. That's separate from weight loss. Weight loss is just a calorie deficit. Okay. Now, I am very pro changing your eating habits, but if you do that at the same time that you try to lose weight, that is two things that you are working on. Okay. I want you to just really think about that. So not only do you have to go into a calorie deficit, but you're changing the way that you eat, the foods that you eat, the recipes that you're pulling from. And what's very common is for me to see a client who will start eating healthier, right? Healthier in quotes, what does that mean, right? Let's just say the client starts to eat more nutrient dense foods, like higher protein and fiber diet, and maybe a little bit lower carbs or something like that, lower sugar. You get the idea here, right? Well, you can do that and it can feel like forward momentum because, to you, you're eating healthier or you're eating foods that are more nutritious. And the scale could be the exact same. You could not lose weight doing that. And it can feel very confusing if you don't understand the difference between the two goals or the two habits, right? Weight loss is a calorie deficit. That is literally how you lose weight. It is not complicated, okay? And working on your eating habits or, your nutrition or your blood sugar or your sleep or your hormones or your protein or whatever it is, right? There are so many worthwhile health goals and I love that. I truly do love that. What I think my background helped me so much with is setting one goal at a time. And this is just from my professional coach training. And I have taken that in to weight loss. So the lose more with less method is just about weight loss. This works extraordinarily well for, the moms who I'm typically helping. Over 35, identify as millennials, you have a lot going on. Maybe you identify as a high achiever or type A like I do, and you're spread thin a little bit on purpose though, right? Maybe you have your work, your career, your home, your spouse, your kids, the activities for them, for you, it's a lot. And that's by design. And so when you add in all of these things, your gut health, your tracking, your macros, your calorie deficit, your new recipes, you're overhauling your eating habits, it's too much. And it typically will work, but it won't work long term because it's unsustainable given your already full life. And so in the lose more with less method, I teach you how to go into a calorie deficit without counting calories. Yes, that is possible. This is one of the questions I get, I would say the most commonly, from people who have never heard of me before and maybe they see one of my ads or something like that. They really are in disbelief that that's possible. And it is possible. And it's not even that difficult. Now, it's not intuitive, but it is not challenging. You just have to learn how to do it. And I teach you how to do that by anchoring to the scale and by going into mild doable hunger and a few other tools that you learn inside at your goal weight. So the whole foundation of the lose more with less method is that you're going to learn how to go into a calorie deficit without counting calories using mild doable hunger. I teach you the hunger scale as well, one of my tools that I was trained on, and some other tools that I created myself because, I was trained on how to create a food plan. And I do teach you that if you want to do that. That's sort of like a ancillary tool. I like to visualize a tool belt. So you get these weight loss tools, but I tell you how to apply them to build the thing you're building, which is your weight loss goal. But the food plan is one that you can take it or leave it. Most of my clients who work with me one-to-one don't use it, but obviously they have me. But I still think that many of my clients who have done my weight loss programs in the past, the way I've taught it, have not needed a food plan. And a food plan is not punishment. It is just a tool in your tool belt. Some people like it. I always like to share my experience though. Personally, I just did not want to do more, and it requires more. And so the whole kind of philosophy behind lose more weight with less is like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do more. You need to literally eat less food and you will go into a deficit, and you measure that by anchoring to the scale. I also do include an entire module on emotional eating, as well as like real life application. So how to make daily food choices and how to make, I call it like common sense tweaks, right? Again, we're not going into counting macros or overhauling your eating habits in a way that's not going to work for your everyday life. And at the same time, you might need to make some common sense tweaks. If you're eating cake all day, you can't just eat less cake. Okay. I don't recommend that. And so common sense tweaks, maybe, right? As you hit any plateaus. I also address those common real life situations like celebrations and travel and holidays and liquid calories and hormones and aging and breastfeeding and health challenges and when to pause your weight loss goal, which is a real thing, right? I just got a DM about this, so I want to bring it up here. I got a question. What if I already work out? That is totally fine. I do get this question from time to time. My whole shtick with exercise is that when you use it for weight loss specifically, it just makes it harder. Okay. And that's totally fine. There are lots of situations in our lives that make weight loss harder. If you're already used to exercising and in the habit of it, that is going to be totally fine and doable. There is a training in the real life application section on how to kind of navigate hunger with respect to weight loss, because obviously from time to time you'll feel hungrier, but by no means will it not work with this program at all. I just recommend that if you don't work out, don't add workouts in while you're losing weight. Just keep working out the way that you are, keep moving the way that you are, and then focus on weight loss and then get to your goal weight, which is what I teach you how to do. And then whatever goal you want to work on after that, one goal at a time, my friend, I promise you. By going through this program at your goal weight, you're not just going to learn new tools, you will have new skills. And these skills will be with you forever, which is so cool. Like, it's just been such a gift to me. It's really my love language to hear from so many of my clients who are losing weight using this method. It's really just been so rewarding for me. And so I really want to emphasize that here, because a lot of the unsolicited feedback that I get from clients who are going through the Lose More with Less method is that they are blown away at how different they eat, at how this really works long term, at how they have this newfound confidence that they can't really explain, but it's applying to so many other things, how they know what to do if there is an uptick, or they go out of town and they overeat and they come back. Like, they feel so much more confident in their ability not to just lose weight, but to keep it off permanently. I really think that that is a differentiator because of the way that I'm teaching you how to lose weight. It fits really well into how you already eat. I talk about this in the program, and I've talked about it in various places, but it's worth mentioning here. When I had my first two sons, I was pescatarian. I didn't eat meat. When I had my third, I had started eating meat again. So I didn't eat meat for like 5 to 7 years. I can't really remember how long, but it was a long time. And I lost the 40 pounds after my first, the 40 pounds after my second, and then the 50 pounds after my third. When I lost the weight with my first two, I wasn't eating meat at all. When I lost the weight with my third, I was eating meat, a lot of meat. I still eat a lot of meat. And so my point with sharing that with you here is that one of the things I love so much about the Lose More with Less method is that it really works given your food preferences. So if you don't want to eat meat, it's totally fine. You can still lose weight. If you want to eat meat, it's totally fine. You can still lose weight. Now, of course, there are extremes. What I'm not saying, again, is that you're going to eat pastries all day long and lose weight, okay? But within the normal range of eating or the typical range of eating, I think this approach to weight loss works better. Obviously, I'm biased, of course, right? Because I use it in my own life and my clients' lives, but I want to share with you why, right? It's really been my experience. And I think that, here's what I think. I think as high achieving women, we're really smart and we try really hard and we want to do a good job. And when something hasn't been working for us, like if we've been trying to lose weight and maybe we lost weight in the past and then we gained it back, or we lost a little bit and we can't lose the last 15 pounds, or we did lose it, but then again, it's been up and down or whatever it is, we don't have the result permanently with our weight that we want because we're high achieving and smart, we tend to think that the solution must be very complicated. Because in the past, when we've problem solved, the solution was complicated. When I became a lawyer, it was very challenging, okay? When I switched careers, when I've done other things that I had to really work for in the past, they have felt challenging because it required doing a lot more. And I'm sharing that here with you because it might be that it's not complicated. It's just that you need a completely different approach. And that really is what I'm offering here. So inside At Your Goal Weight, you're going to learn the specific steps to take to implement the Lose More with Less method so that you can lose weight permanently. I include a maintenance mode module because it's so important to me, and I know it'll be very important to you as well. And you're going to get the specific steps to take to lose weight. And you'll, over the course of implementing these steps, you will start to develop skills. You will learn how to lose weight by going into a calorie deficit without counting calories. You will learn how to create a food plan if you so choose, right? You don't have to. I didn't personally, and most of my clients don't, but I wanted to include it. I'm trained on it. I think it is valuable. Like even when I was on my weight loss journey, I would always tell myself like, okay, it's there if I need it, kind of like in my back pocket, but I'm hoping that I don't have to just because it takes more time, not because it's punitive in any way, but it really does work if you need it. You're going to learn how to stop emotional eating, which is really, I think, something that just the moms that I typically coach care a lot about. And I think for good reason, right? We stress eat, and we want to be able to manage the stress and not feel like we're resisting or white knuckling. And I really teach you how to do that. I also will teach you, and you will learn the new skill of making common sense food tweaks based on your diet, your preferred way of eating. So whether you eat meat or you don't eat meat or whatever preferences you have, common sense food tweaks, my friends. It is a game changer. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Again, I think because we're high achieving and we've had challenging problems in the past, we think, okay, then this must be very challenging. And now all of a sudden I have to become a nutritionist. And it's just not true. It is just not true. It's like, maybe you need to skip the dips and the sauces, like very common sense. And, I work again with a lot of professional women, and, they will tell me unsolicited that, I was just way overcomplicating weight loss. And that's just what we do because we're high achieving. Our brain does not stop. And so we overcomplicate things that are not complicated. And so it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, I already knew that, but it is going to be, oh, I see what I was doing. I was overcomplicating it, and this is so much simpler, and it really works. And so it's kind of awesome. Like I've had clients tell me like, I hired you because I wanted to save on time and not have to be thinking about this all the time. And it's interesting because I'm almost wanting to do more because I'm so used to having to do so much more. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly it, right? Like we're so used to having to do more. And this really is the opposite approach. You're going to learn how to make tweaks. So something that's really important to me is not just that I help you get to your goal weight as fast as possible. Like, I want you to have the skill of how to go into a calorie deficit and reach your goal weight and know when you hit a plateau, how to make tweaks. And that is a skill set. And it is as much as it is getting your reps in as it is confidence and mindset. There's an entire mindset module in here. My weight loss approach with Lose More with Less is very much strategy first and mindset second, but it's not like the mindset part is irrelevant. I just don't recommend writing down mantras and journaling about losing weight and then not doing the work that it takes. And so I think that the mindset work is secondary, and that's always how I've approached weight loss. And I think it works really well, but you will get the mindset tools in there as well. So overall, you are going to learn exactly how to reach your goal weight and maintain it. You're going to lose more weight by doing less. You're going to lose weight without needing to exercise for weight loss, without needing to follow recipes and overhaul your eating habits or focus on nutrition in a way that you don't want to right now. Again, worthwhile goals, my friends. Please don't hear me say that those aren't worthwhile. They are, but do them one at a time. This is something that I just want to preach about for any goal that you have. Next New Year's, my friends, please do not set 7 goals. Set 1. Go out there, crush that goal, and then set another one, and then another one, and then another one. It's like a goal setting and achieving snowball. The momentum is crazy. You're going to be so much more successful. And so I've really taken that approach to goal setting and applied it to my professional weight loss training, as well as, and I think even more importantly, my personal experience losing weight in kind of crazy circumstances where I would have had every reason to say, now is not the time, I'm going to wait. And I didn't want to do that. I did not want it to be a someday goal. And so I went for it. And my only regret is that I wish I would have documented it more along the way with photos so I could share real before and afters with you. But here we are. Nonetheless, I am so beside myself with excitement to bring you at your goal weight. It has been a labor of love in the very best way. And I am so excited to get it to you so that you can actually set and achieve your weight loss goal and live into being the person who is her goal weight, not just quickly, but permanently. All right, my beautiful friends, I look forward to hearing from you and answering any of your questions. momonpurpose.com/goal. Take care.